Hello everyone, welcome. Welcome to this special session on SSC-CGL 2022 exams. The notification of this year's SSC-CGL exams came out day before yesterday evening, and from then on there has been a lot of queries, a lot of confusions regarding what to do, how to do, and understandably so, because on paper the SSC-CGL has gone a massive transformation in terms of the exam structure. So students are a little bit confused in the way in which they should be approaching these exams, right? That is why today in this session we are going to try to address all those issues that has been brought in front of us and that we are seeing being discussed in the group or on the YouTube regarding the confusions that students have of the SSC-CGL 2022 preparation. Okay. So I have listed 3-4 items on today's agenda. Let me show them to you first. In the notification itself, there has been mention of a huge number of vacancies. Now, huge number of vacancies with respect to what we have been seeing in the previous years. So a lot of students are in double mind that whether this is an opportunity or whether this is a challenge, or whether they should go for this exam or not, right? And compounding this confusion is the fact that the exam pattern has gone through significant changes. So what are the implications of those changes? Students are yet to understand it, and today we will try to address that and make you understand that how much the change is for you and what exactly changes in your preparation due to the changes in the pattern. Okay. And the third thing that has been coming to us in form of queries was those students who are preparing for Bank PO. They are asking us that whether they should be going for this year's SSC-CGL exam, and the reason is obvious because of the increased vacancies and the change in pattern of the exam. So the Bank PO aspirants, the SBI PO aspirants, IBPS PO aspirants, they also think that whether they should be going for this exam or not. So we will address that query of yours too. So these are the 3 major queries that we would address in today's session. So the first thing, the increased vacancies, 20,000 plus vacancies has been mentioned in the notification as tentative vacancies, right? So this is an opportunity or a challenge? Obviously an opportunity. Why? See, in 2 ways. First of all, because there are increased vacancies, therefore your chances of qualifying obviously goes up. And secondly, all of you know that there has been the much talked about government directive about filling up the SSC posts fast, right? So that also gives an indication that there is a possibility that these posts would get filled fast. The process would get completed fast. If the grapevine is to be believed, then people are saying that it can be as fast as 7 to 8 months that the whole process would be completed and the joining would be issued, right? And we hope so that it happens, right? So and that what makes this year's SSC-CGL 2022 a great opportunity for all of you guys, right? Then why are people thinking this to be a challenge? A, because of the pattern change, and B, you see, a lot of people think that if the vacancies are more, the number of takers would also be more. And I agree that the number of takers this year might be more than what we had been seeing for the past few years because of the increased vacancy, but that does not mean that your real competition increases, because yes, you will prepare with all your might, but still there would be a lot of people who are normally fence sitters. They haven't prepared for this exam in the right way and they would jump in and give that exam, right? So they would give this exam, but they would not be prepared for it. So that is not going to hamper your chances, rather that would increase your chances of selection. Okay, right? So for all practical purpose, this is an opportunity for you. Okay? Now, changes. Now, coming to the most controversial thing that has happened in the SSC-CGL notification, and that is the change that has happened. You see, I have some things to say regarding the change, some inferences to make. First, the changes are major but in structure, not in the content or in the syllabus as such, right? Okay. Why am I saying so? I will show that to you, right, with the data. Yes, in structure there is a huge difference that has happened, starting with the fact that tier 1 has now become only qualifying in nature. Tier 1 marks will not be added to the final merit list marks, right? So, your rank, your chances of selection would not be dependent on the tier 1 marks, but it would be qualifying in nature. So, you will have to clear tier 1 to go to tier 2. Okay? This is one major change. What are the other changes? The tier 2 pattern. The tier 2 pattern has been overhauled to an extent structure wise. Now, what is the current structure of tier 2 and how has it changed from the previous structure? Now, previously the tier 2 structure was that there were 2 papers of 2 hours each. One paper was maths, right, or mathematical ability of 200 marks, 100 questions, 2 hours. Another paper was English, 200 marks, 200 questions, 2 hours. So, this was tier 2 for you, 400 marks paper, maths and English. This time the tier 2 has become a 390 marks paper, where there are 3 segments or sections to this paper. First is the section of mathematical aptitude and reasoning. So, the first section is of 180 marks, 30 questions of maths, 3 marks each, 30 questions of reasoning, 3 marks each, right. Then you have the next section, which is English, 45 questions, 3 marks each, 135 marks, and GK 25 questions, 3 marks each, 75 marks, right. So, 180, 210, 390. So, what is the third section all about? Third section marks will not be added, it is computer aptitude test, that would be again qualifying in nature. So, this is the structure of the current tier 2. Another change that has happened is that earlier we used to have tier 3, which was subjective paper, writing paper, that has gone away from the scheme of things, right. So, this is where we stand today. Now, major changes, then why am I saying that these are structural changes and not much of a change in syllabus or content? Let me show that to you. First, changes in weightage. For this, we will have to understand changes in weightage first. Maths. The weightage of maths in your selection process. Earlier, the selection process was in 700 and out of that 250 was maths, right. So, your weightage of maths in selection process earlier was 35.71%. Today, it has become 23.07% reasoning. Earlier, reasoning was 50 marks out of 700, today it is 90 marks out of 390. So, from 7.14% weightage, it has gone to 23.07%. Okay. Then English. English, earlier the weightage of English was 250 marks out of 700. Today it is 135 marks out of 390. So, its percentage has come down marginally by around 1% to 34.61%. So, the weightage of English remains the most unchanged one, right. Quant has decreased, reasoning has increased, English has remained almost same. GA. Earlier GA was only in tier 1, just like in reasoning, 7.14%. Today it has 19.23% weightage, right. So, these are the weightages in your selection process. Descriptive, earlier it was 14.28%, today it is 0%. So, descriptive was in English, Hindi both. So, that whole segment is out of the scenario. So, today we are going to get selected on the basis of maths, reasoning, English and general awareness, where English has become now the leading score getter in the terms of the number of marks that are allotted to one particular section, right. Earlier it was used to be maths and English both, but today it is English followed by reasoning and maths. Reasoning and maths has now same weightage, and then followed by general awareness, right. Now, all of this is okay, but then what exactly has changed is are these weightages only, na? Have there been significant changes in the syllabus? No, my dear friend. If you see one or two topics, new topics, important new topics like statistics, some topics of statistics and then probability have been added to maths. Then one or two minor topics have been added to English. So, largely the syllabus remains the same for both maths and English, and the same goes for reasoning. Whatever was tier 1 syllabus, the same syllabus is for tier 2, right, and the same would most probably go for general awareness too. So, what you need to study, right, earlier vis-a-vis what you need to study now, is it changing much? No, right. So, what are the implication of these changes in weightage? One implication is that maths and English still comprise of the major percentage of your weightage. Earlier it was around 70%, today at this point it is around 57 to 58%. So, major percentage still maths and English, a little reduced percent, but major still that. So, they would be deciding factors without doubt, important deciding factor. That obviously does not say that reasoning and GA would not be deciding factor. Obviously, they would also be deciding factor. As a matter of fact, reasoning historically has been seen to be one of the most scoring sections in SSC-CGL. So, if you know, it's like it's an opportunity also that for everyone, that in reasoning in tier 1 a lot of students scored well, right, but by starting by themselves only they scored well, and that same effect can be replicated in tier 2 now too, right, because the syllabus is the same. Now, in general awareness, does anything change? No. Again, whatever you want to do in tier 1, the same thing has to be continued till tier 2. So, in both reasoning and general awareness, if you see that, you know, it's not getting wasted, rather it is getting invested in your tier 2 marks, right. Earlier what used to happen, that whatever we studied till tier 1 for reasoning and general awareness, they went waste for tier 2, because tier 2 did not have any reasoning or general awareness. Today you would get the same reasoning and GA in tier 2 too. So, therefore, your studies before tier 1 and after that for reasoning and GA is not getting wasted, right. So, this is again another opportunity, I would say, that reasoning, one of the most scoring sections, and general awareness, which you already do in tier 1, reasoning and GA both, you are getting an opportunity to score from them in tier 2 also, right. And finally, one of the factors that is happening due to this change is that your preparation duration, your preparation time limits to be given to each topic or subject would be more or less uniform over the whole course of preparation. Earlier what used to happen, for tier 1 you would give separate time to maths, separate time to reasoning, English and GA. Like maths would, let's say, get 30% time, and English would get 25% time, another 20% time to reasoning, and then another 20% time to general awareness. Just before after tier 1 and before tier 2, what would happen, that the whole time would again go for a change, and maths would be given around 60%, English 40%. This time that would not happen. Whatever time schedule you have done for these 4 topics in tier 1, the same would go on in tier 2. Obviously, maths would be given a little more time, because the syllabus is vast, there is advanced maths still, you will have to do it, 1 or 2 new topics have been added, you will have to do it. and English again has to be given utmost importance, because you can see an indication here that English is might be a kingmaker in terms of these year's SSC-CGL exam. Why do I say so? Just take a look at the timing that are there. 1 hour of section 1, 30 questions quant, 30 question reasoning. Reasoning on an average would take lesser time, right? So total 60 question, 60 minutes. So a little more than 1 minute for quant and less than 1 minute for reasoning. That's what the structure looks like in tier 2. So if you look at the reasoning and quantum time allotment remains more or less the same as the previous year's exam, right? Because they are also in tier 2, quant 100 questions and 120 minutes, a little more than 1 minute for each question, right? And in tier 1 reasoning was less than 1 minute for each question. So the time allotment more or less remains the same. But in English, the time allotment changes this year. Why? Earlier in tier 2 it was 200 questions and 120 minutes. This time you have 1 hour for English and GK. So GK, let's say 10 minutes. So 50 minutes left, 50 minutes, 45 questions. So it seems like it's a conjecture from my part, but it seems like the English questions would be a little more time consuming this year, which means the level of the English questions would be higher than previous years. So therefore it makes sense that you focus on English well and don't take it lightly. This and this also spells a little bit of opportunity for all of those students who are preparing for banking exams too, because they have an habit of preparing for a little tougher English than what comes in SSC, because the banking English is more challenging than the SSC-CGL English that has been till date, right? But this year it might change, right? So this is one change that we are seeing from the time allotment. It's simple. If you want to understand how the paper's nature might change, look at the time allotment that has been assumed by the examiner, and that would give you an idea, right? So from prima facie, looking at tier 2 structure, it can be conjectured as such. So where was I now? So what were we saying? We were talking about the time allotment. So still even today, when you are in a tier 1 preparation, you give around 30-35% of your time, 30% of your time to quant, and then 25% time to your English. So 55 to 60% time to quant and English. Today also you give it 20% time to reasoning and GA. So the same would happen for this year full till tier 2. So the pattern in which you prepare, that has become more homogeneous, right? This is what has happened. That is the implication of these changes. So don't panic. These changes, as a matter of fact, are to one extent advantages to, opportunities to, because as I told you that some scoring areas have been included in tier 2, and then the preparation structure remains the same for both tier 1 and tier 2. So these are what? These are opportunities, right? Now, the final question: should Bank PO aspirant dive in to prepare for SSC-CGL? Now, this is not a simple yes/no answer, right? This depends entirely upon what you want. I'll give you 3 conditions. First condition: if you are not interested in jobs that you get from CGL, after SSC-CGL, the jobs that you get, you are not interested in those jobs, and you are thinking about going for SSC-CGL just because there are more vacancies this year, that's not the right way to think. Don't do it then. Then my guidance would be to not do it, right? Second, if you are interested, but your primary purpose is to go for Bank PO, SBI PO, IBPS PO, and and your secondary is to also keep yourself open for SSC-CGL, but you do not have any time to spare, you do not have any extra time to spare, then also don't go for it, because there is a myth that is being propagated. I don't know why, but a lot of even teachers are propagating it, is that SSC-CGL has now become like banking exam. No, it has not become like banking exam. Now you guys know that the tier 1 reasoning or the reasoning that we see in SSC-CGL is markedly different from the reasoning that we see in Bank PO. The maths that we see in SSC-CGL is markedly different than the maths that we see in Bank PO. There are intersections, but there are additions in SSC-CGL, and you'll have to prepare for that. Right. In English also there are so many other things that comes in SSC-CGL that does not come in Bank PO. As I told you, there might be a case that the English might go a little bit more towards the Bank PO way and the level of the questions might increase, but then that's also an opportunity for all of us who are preparing well, right. But then at the end of the day, well, my point is that if you do not have time to spare for SSC-CGL separately in every day or every week, you should not go for it. Then what would happen is that you did not give time to SSC-CGL, you did not give time to Bank PO, and you lost opportunity in both the exam. But if the case is that you are interested in the job that comes after CGL and have extra time to spare, then you should definitely look towards SSC-CGL preparation alongside your Bank PO preparation, because then what would happen, the intersection would save your time and you can prepare on that additional time on the additional topics, right. So that way then that intersection would help you, the intersection between bank and SSC syllabus, right. So this is how a Bank PO aspirant should decide whether he or she wants to go for SSC-CGL or not. So finally, before we end today, I'll address another query of students that they have been asking regarding the Maths and English course of SSC-CGL that Merit Shine provides. A lot of you had been asking whether there would be changes in that course or not. You see, there would be changes. There would be changes in terms of that the new topics would be added to the course. The new topics that are there in maths and minor changes in English in terms of topics, and major changes in the level of questions. Okay. So because as I told you that there is a conjecture of mine that the level of questions might increase in English this year, and you know that our preparation standards are always much higher than the exam that we prepare for, right. So we will anyways prepare you for 1 or 2 level higher than what SSC-CGL normally gives. So that we will take care in both maths and English, right, and the new topics would be added. That would be the changes that would be there in the maths and English course of our SSC-CGL, and nothing else. Nothing else is required from the perspective of the Merit Shine SSC-CGL maths and English course, right. So these would be the changes. Regarding reasoning, what we used to tell you earlier, our advice remains the same. See, tier 1 reasoning is what has been extended to tier 2 reasoning. So regarding reasoning, our advice to you is the same, that do the question, practice the questions, question types, practice all question types, and this time do not stop at tier 1, but keep doing it till tier 2. Right, and the same for general awareness, from the idea that you have got from the previous year's paper in tier 1, start preparing, start doing questions, start practicing questions, and start studying general awareness, and extend it till tier 2. Rather than stopping on tier 1, you extend it till tier 2. That's the only change that you need to do for reasoning and general awareness. Okay, right. So that would be all for today. Thank you very much. Hope this session helped you to plan better. So see you in the next session. Thank you very much.